is here. So let's head over to the Bet365 Stadium, where Nathan Jones was looking to get his first league win of the season. Stoke made 7 changes from the Carabao Cup win against Wigan. Tom Ince lining up against his old club. At Derby County were hoping the more experienced players could emulate the young guns' performance against Scunthorpe in the League Cup, and Dan Mason has the mic.
Huge pressure on Stoke today. Haven't won at home since March. Only 2 home wins in 2019. Derby immediately onto the front foot here with Malone. Kieran Dow, there's Waghorn, and Derby lead. It's the worst possible start for Nathan Jones and Stoke. Only 80 seconds played, and Martin Waghorn has his first goal of the season. Clucas. Ince finds James McLean. He's got 4 to aim at in the middle. There's Clucas, saved by Roos. Oh, Allen misses from 2 yards, and Smith also off target for Stoke. Dear me, Joe Allen, how does he miss this one? It looked easier to score. Here's Tom Lawrence. Oof. Foul by Ryan Woods. Not too much doubt about that one. Kieran Dow with the free kick. Looking for Clark, and Butland falls on the loose ball. And Clark on loan from Brighton. He had them worried there. McLean taking on low and winning the corner. Looked good today, James McLean. It's deep towards Lindsay, who gets there. Here's Lee Gregory. There's going to be another corner. And there must have been a touch on it from George Evans. Clucas with a corner. Looking for Lindsay again. Oh, and he scored, Lindsay! 30 minutes gone, and Stoke level. Liam Lindsay winning the header. Martin Waghorn unable to keep it out on the goal line. And on the balance of play, Stoke just about deserved that. Derby can't get out of their own half at the moment. It's been all Stoke since that equaliser. Now Lawrence has been caught in possession by Allen, who finds Hogan. Scott Hogan, Shebby to shoot. It's blocked. Ince! Oh! Now he's hit the woodwork. You ever get the feeling that someone up there doesn't like you? Nail-biting stuff. Half-time came at the wrong time for Stoke. They were well on top as the interval approached. Butland looking long here. Derby looking a bit square. Here's Lee Gregory. Hogan's in the middle, and Stoke have turned it around. Scott Hogan with his first goal for the club. Derby caught out by the long ball, but didn't Hogan take it well? Stoke lead Derby by 2 goals to 1. Low has found Kieran Dow, and Joseph Soon's up there too, but Dow goes down, and it's a penalty to Derby. He rode one challenge, Kieran Dow, and it was Tommy Smith that brought him down. Waghorn had one saved against Swansea last week. Not today though. Derby level with 20 minutes to go. Not the best penalty. If Butland had stood still, he'd have put his foot on that. Really open game now. Marriott. He's picked out Joseph Soon, and look at Waghorn in the middle. He's in. Waghorn for the hat-trick. No. Saved by Butland. Terrific counter-attack from Derby. A match-winning opportunity. A match ball opportunity. Snuffed out by Butland. Danny Bath looking for McLean. Oh, what a ball that was. Looks perfect. Now McLean teasing Max Lowe. Got Peter Atebo up alongside him. Here is Atebo going for goal. Not too far away. The substitute coming close to a winner for Stoke City.
I think Waghorn has a great opportunity in transition to get a winner. But okay, that's football. Not he scored twice, and we have to proceed for the game on Tuesday.
Look, I'm seeing a massive difference in our play. I mean, we played Derby last year, drew 0-0, and the level of performance was a million miles different today. You know, we were struggling to contain them. They had more energy than us, they had more fluency than us. Today, the shoes on the other foot. And you know, we were lucky to escape with a 0-0 there, and they'd be very lucky to escape with a 2-2.
Very honest of him. It's weird scenario. We might not agree totally on it. I think we look at areas like Newcastle and Sunderland. We talk about just how passionate they are about the football. You've managed there. I think we really underestimate just how much football they live and breathe it in the Potteries.
Oh, it's an incredibly passionate area. And I think that's probably why there's been so much frustration there for the last 2 or 3 seasons. You know, when you drop out of the Premier League and perform so poorly for a period of time, it then becomes so difficult. You've got to start well. There's a lot of frustration around at the moment. I think Nathan mentioned it today. You know, they performed a lot better. You know, it was a really, really good performance. But just small moments are just not going for them at the moment. They can't seem to capitalise on things. And it seems to be all of those misses or those goals that don't go in, it magnifies the pressure on the season.
Going down so early, the Joe Allen miss, you can feel it and you can hear it. So it was resilient to get the draw. But listen, Waghorn the hero. Let's have a look at the penalty decision. Just make sure that everything's all right with this. Manager, have a look.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, it's a little bit soft, but I think when Tommy Smith puts his leg in, you know, you've got to stand off and you've got to make sure you win the ball. Once you lean in with your foot, you're given the opportunity for contact. I don't think there's any arguments.
So he scored 2, Waghorn, and he's on for the hat-trick, and I thought he was very unlucky here. But you, watching it in the office, typical manager, having a bit of a go. What's wrong with this?
You know what? We had a disagreement on the dink.
You're not dink friendly.
I'm not a dink fan. You know, not when you're on a hat trick. If he scores, fantastic. But you know, for me, I just think he needs to put a little bit more power into it. It's a great chance to go and win the game.
So cruel. Philip Cocu, Derby. Story so far for him. Give me a bit of a run the rule over how he's adjusting.
I think it's been a really good start. You know, it's gone under the radar a little bit. I spoke to Mel Morris, the owner, recently, and some of the staff there, and you know, he's been really good around the place. Philip Cocu. I think he suits Derby style and how they want to try and build a philosophy throughout the club. He's developed players before and had good success with that, and I think he's made a really good start.
Quiet, well-liked and a good fit. Right, up now, a big chunk of action, including the only 2 teams with 100% records in the Championship, Charlton and Sheffield Wednesday. And in fact, that's where we start as the Owls landed at the Lions' Den.
Sheffield Wednesday put that perfect start on the line against a Millwall side who yet to taste defeat so far this season. Adam Reach has an eye for the spectacular. He came close to adding to his scrapbook of long-distance strikes. The Lions roared back through Matt Smith, who was back in the starting 11. The former QPR man scored on debut, but this was his first at the Den, a finish that would look familiar to anyone who has followed the career of the big striker. The momentum Millwall took from that goal soon slowed. A ferocious tackle from Jed Wallace on Kieran Lee resulted in a straight red. The home side reduced to 10 just before the break. Despite being a man down, Neil Harris's side still created chances in a second half where Wednesday dominated possession. Aidan O'Brien coming close to doubling the lead. Kieran Westwood back from suspension, keen to make amends for his rush of blood on opening day. In the end, Millwall didn't need a second goal despite a late push from the visitors. Barry Bannon's effort well saved before Kadeem Harris wasted the rebound. The first defeat of the season for the Owls. Meanwhile, Millwall's unbeaten run continues.
Yeah, 7 points from 3 games. It's a nice position to be in for Millwall Football Club in the Championship. We had to work really hard for every point we've gained so far. It doesn't come any tougher than that. When you've got the ability to be able to bring on Barry Bannon at half-time to dictate the play, it's a real challenge.
Charlton are unbeaten since their return to the second tier, but have a poor record of just 2 wins in 11 at Barnsley when the teams have met over the last few seasons at various League One and Championship clashes. The visitors almost opened the scoring, Ben Purrington's effort taking a good look at the entire width of the goal on its way out of play. Instrumental in his team's promotion last campaign, it looks like Cauley Woodrow's form could continue this season too. He executed a fabulous volley in not much time or space, his 20th goal overall for Barnsley. This was also his first Championship goal since November 2017. Johnny Williams then did the hard work for Charlton's reply. He eventually found Chelsea loanee Colin Gallagher. He put himself in the right place to net for a second Saturday in a row and the equaliser for the Addicts. It then took some serious patience and endeavour for summer signing Connor Chaplin to get the home side back ahead. He had plenty of space when he received the ball, but dealt with Charlton defenders' attention well to net his first of the campaign. This, by the way, is his first ever Championship goal, and Barnsley were back ahead. Now, a question: if you were to bank on any Charlton player to rescue a point for the Addicts, who would it be? Probably not new boy Gallagher, but he chipped in with a penalty award after a clumsy challenge from Bambo Diaby. The spot kick was to be taken, of course, by Lyle Taylor. This for an extraordinary 13th goal in his last 16 appearances, the slowest penalty take ever. Possibly a bit cool to all the final score.
It's confidence. He's good at it. So as long as he keeps scoring, then that's all I care about. So it's not arrogance at all. He's a confident lad, and he knows what works for him. And at the moment, that's working.
It's 37 games since Preston last gave away a lead to lose in a Championship match, so the long trip to South Wales looked to be going well when Joe Rafferty, a right-back playing at left-back, scored his first league goal since stepping up from League One with Rochdale. Freddie Woodman, whose dad Andy played for a host of clubs in the EFL, beaten at his near post. Many thought this would be a season of transition for Swansea, but it's been a promising start. Borja looked to be leaving the club in the summer, but reintegrated into the squad, he equalised in first half stoppage time. The one-time record Swansea signing may yet leave by the end of August, with several Spanish clubs interested. The game went crazy in a 7-minute second half spell. First substitute George Byers was set up by Bertrand Salina to put Swansea ahead and put them on course to go 11 games unbeaten at the Liberty Stadium, their best home run since 2011. But Preston hit back inside 4 minutes. Connor Roberts, who set up the equaliser, then set up the visitors to make it 2-2. Barging down Sean Maguire to give away a penalty. Daniel Johnson scored from the spot against Swansea last season, and he did so again. The home supporters silenced maybe, but not for very long. And while Preston don't often lose from winning positions, Swansea have now won 3 of their first 4 games under Steve Cooper, all after going behind. Within 2 minutes, Jake Bidwell's cross was met perfectly by Borja to get his second. He'd only scored once in 3 years since his move from Atletico Madrid. This was his 3rd already this season.
We've had a good start, there's no doubt about that in terms of points, but it only becomes a good start if you keep adding to it.
Not much love lost between these two after a feisty affair at Ellen Road last season that cost Leeds valuable momentum, and Joe Williams was snapping at heels a little too enthusiastically early on. Wigan were looking to improve on a mixed start to the campaign, and Lee Evans certainly played his part with this free kick, but so did Kiko Casilla. The Latics had a man sent off at Ellen Road last season, and history would repeat itself. Williams launching himself at Patrick Bamford, which would cost him a second yellow card and make it a long afternoon for his teammates. Referee Andy Madley was in no doubt. Williams seemed less convinced. Back in April, when Wigan found themselves down to 10 men, they also found themselves a goal down before staging a famous comeback. Bamford put Leeds in front that day, and guess who was in the right place at the right time yet again? Tempers threatened to boil over between the two sides at half-time, but the visitors took the heat out of the contest when they stretched their lead. Bamford in prime goal-snaffling mood to pick up his third of the season. The home side were determined to go down swinging, but they just couldn't land a blow. Evans again taking aim, and Casilla again too good to be beaten. It summed up the afternoon, which belonged to the Yorkshire side.
Really straightforward game, Gary. Well done, Patrick Bamford. Delighted for him. He takes a bit of stick. No arguments with the two yellows.
No, it's stupid from Williams. I think even the second challenge, a yellow, could well have been a red card in itself.
Let's move on to Swansea. Real resilience today. They were battered in the first half an hour. They get the win. How good a job Steve Cooper doing so far?
He's done a really good job so far. I think he's maintained that Swansea philosophy in terms of how they want to play, built on from last season with Graham Potter. And I think he's also showed a different side to him. The likes of Borja, he's got him scoring goals from nowhere. I mean, he was out in almost exile over the last two seasons. He hasn't really had much of a Swansea City career so far, but he could well be a fantastic replacement and very well managed with a loss of some of the strikers this summer.
Good win over Preston North End, who've looked good this season. Louis Malt, though, bad injury there, so fingers crossed for him from a Preston point of view. So, I will focus a lot on managers tonight with you here, but Lee Bowyer, almost the accidental manager, right?
Well, it's crazy, wasn't it? I mean, I read a story that he'd gone to France and bought his own carp fishing lake, I think. And
typical footballer, eh?
I'd almost gave up on the football. So I think, to come back into it, maybe just by doing it in that route, a different route, maybe he appreciates it a little bit more. But he's certainly done he's done a fantastic job so far.
You had your hands tied a bit at Birmingham like he does, but Lee Bowyer knows his hands are tied. They've been honest with him in that way. Good loan signs. He's had time to work with the little he has and with Johnny Jackson at his side. So maybe not as big a surprise to see them doing well.
No, I think the pair of them are a very good combination. You need that. You need two people to bounce off each other, to complement each other, and I think they certainly do. I think sometimes it's easier to be in that situation where you haven't got a lot of money, you understand that. So therefore, you just have to get your head down and work with the players. You have to make them better. You have to accept some of their faults and just go with it and try to improve them as much as you can. And they've got a really... looks like a very, very strong culture there, and I expect them to really have a good go at staying up this year.
Listen, well done to Millwall, but how many times this season are we going to say Millwall won with a set piece? Absolutely, the old Millwall are back. The sending off might have been a little bit harsh, but we've got to move on with time. So after the break, we'll head to the City Ground to take a peek. Another one of Gary's old clubs, Birmingham City, away to Forest side, looking their first win of the season.
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
Some saw us as strange. As troublemakers. As an embarrassment. All we ever saw was a team.
Before you take a Riviera travel tour, you can rest assured we've sampled every part of it ourselves. We've met the owners, tasted the wine, and sampled the local delicacies, so you can enjoy discovering the best of every destination while relaxing in total comfort from a beautiful hotel. Explore Europe with 7-day tours starting from only $499 at rivieratravel.co.uk.
Tracy, I'm here to take you out. for a walk.
But I'm not with Direct Line.
And that is why you've been waiting around for someone else to fix your problem, instead of enjoying a duck orange with Sharon. So saving Mr. Watkins here. When you realize you've got balance, and bam, you missed out on becoming Tracy on Ice, all because you're not with Direct Line.
Just add soda to new Smirnoff Infusions, made with real fruit.
Switch to Sky's superfast broadband. We'll guarantee your speeds or your money back in the first 30 days. It's totally unlimited, perfect for non-stop gaming and watching your favourite shows back to back. So get superfast broadband for just £27 a month, and that's including line rental. Join or recontract today. Simply search Sky Broadband.
This summer's ultimate wow buy. Maxi dresses at a price you'll love. Now only £5. At Studio, we do wow.
This is Peloton.
Let's get this started.
Studio cycling, live and on demand in your home. And his and hers.
Find that beat.
This is thousands of riders connecting with world-class instructors and each other. This is a game-changing workout whenever you want it. This is you reaching your personal best. Until tomorrow. Peloton.
This is the one, Gareth.
Gareth's gone for a little detour. So you want to look the cat's pajamas. And so far, Bevan, you've tried on 19 shirts in Fandango pink. My friend, you're not looking in the right places. It's like insurance. You want to look out for a better deal. But you're not the kind of guy who only looks on comparison sites. No! You check Direct Line too, like a good boy. Knock him dead.
Buying a new car? Don't do it the old way. Traipsing around dealers, haggling, never knowing if you're getting a good deal. Go to CarWow. There's everything you need to confidently choose and buy the right car. When you're ready, we'll bring you offers from local and national approved dealers. Compare your offers by price, location and dealer rating and buy directly from your preferred dealer. No haggling, no hidden charges, and CarWow buyers save on average £3,600. Get the right deal on your new car. Go to carwow.com now.
What makes you, you? Your cells. Trillions of them. That's why Centrum contains a range of micronutrients such as vitamin B, C and D to help nourish your body at the cellular level. Nourished cells mirror your well-being, help you feel energised and reflect your vitality. Centrum. Love your cells. Live your life.
The treehouse just grew up.
So what do you want in it?
Bookshelves. Bathroom.
Electricity and lights.
Let's go, let's go.
We're building things, guys.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Miss the latest Treehouse Masters on D-Max? It's now available on Quest OD. Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
Welcome back to the EFL on Quest as we head to the City Ground, which is never a bad thing. Last time out, Nottingham Forest got a good point away to Leeds United. Sabri Lamouchi looking to build on that. Meanwhile, Birmingham City's Pep Clotet, he's hoping to keep up his side's unbeaten start to the league season. So let's see what happened.
Semedo. Sal. Did appear to get a nudge in the back from David Davis, and the free kick has indeed been given. Cash and Lolly over this Forest set piece. Lolly takes and headed away by Roberts. A challenge on Robinson by Šunić as he played that ball. 50-50 ball that, but Šunić catching Robinson on the ankle. Well, this one is a long way out. Watson
Poking it to Lolly, who can hit them, and has lit one and scored! A lifelong Aston Villa supporter scores against Birmingham. He arrowed it into the bottom corner. Watson knocks it to his left. Only one thing on Lolly's mind. Plenty of power on it. Lee Camp gets a glove on it, but can't keep it out. These are the times, I suppose, where you learn a lot about your team, what character it has. That was played straight into the heels of Ameobi by Robinson. And here he is stealing it back. He's done well. Cash, he's got Lolly to his right. Driving for the line, standing one up far post, Grabban! It's 2! Well, Forest are in dreamland now, and seemingly cruising. Lolly, the creator this time. And Grabban sends the header home. Grabban in between two Birmingham City defenders and puts it back across the goalkeeper. And despite the efforts of the Birmingham player on the line, couldn't keep it out. Well, Nottingham Forest hadn't failed to win any of their opening 3 league games for 9 years. That's so far so good in this one, as Lolly drives them forward again. Semedo, Grabban, striking chance, stings the palms of Lee Camp. The flag was up near side anyway, it wouldn't have counted, but yet another warning for Birmingham City as to how lively Lewis Grabban can be. Just strays offside, Grabban. Watson. Ameobi the target, and he's going to go after this. He's got too much for Collan, and it needed Camp to bail him out. Ameobi goes after his own flick on here. Collan always seemed to be struggling to keep pace with him. And this time Lee Camp able to turn it round the post. And if Birmingham are to get anything from this, you feel they have to get the next goal. Ameobi. Oh, it's gone straight to Robinson! Well, Birmingham City playing on the edge there. The clearance was put straight back to Robinson by Mark Roberts. Silva takes a lot of pace. Dawson! Michael Dawson makes it 3-0. Silva's corner, Dawson comes in and plants it beyond Lee Camp. Nobody goes with him. And for Forest, it is a cruise against the Blues. Robinson's throw, Lolly takes it early! Goodness me, very nearly a 4th goal. Quick thinking from Lolly, makes the run near post, took it early, and Lee Camp just about keeping it out of the net. Robinson again, chased down by Maxime Collan. Grabban far post, couldn't reach it. Kept in by Lolly. There's a chance for a 4th and headed wide by Samba Sow. Well, everybody wants a piece of this now. The initial cross from Robinson too high for Grabban. Sent back in here by Joe Lolly. And Samba Sow glances it wide. That's a really good chance. Thiago Silva pulls it back across and smacked over the top by Ameobi this time. Well, that really should have been 4. Took a deflection on its way through to Ameobi, who takes a swing at it. Ameobi tussling with Šonić, taken on by Adoma. Grabban's in there. Oh, how many chances do they want? Lovely ball in from Adoma. And Lewis Grabban is completely unmarked. It's a day to forget for Birmingham City.
we're working very well to be solid. You know, we've always been a solid team, and today we could have been a little bit more solid on those actions. As part of that, very focused on improving it and get back strong after that.
We have until the end of this month 4 more games in less than 10 days. It's too much. It's too much. It's just 1 victory, nothing else. So we need to confirm, and we have 2 games away. Charlton and Fulham would be very tough, and the next one at home is Derby, very important for our fans, and we will finish August with Preston at home. We will see after Preston, but it's just 1 game, just 1 victory, nothing else.
It is just 1 game, but from a manager's point of view, how impressed are you with the tactics of Sabri Lamouchi today?
Excellent management. He got it spot on. I mean, you look at the possession, 47% possession at home, but I don't think it's a problem. He knows that Birmingham's new system, they're going to come onto them, they're going to be a little bit more expansive, and he's obviously looked to try and exploit on the counter-attack at times those gaps, and did it really well. It looked like they won at a canter today.
Yeah, Cash at right back was stupendous today, but Worrell, Dawson, so many choices for man of the match. It shows possession isn't always key.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, you look at Birmingham's start. You know, Birmingham had 24% possession in the first game against Brentford and won the game 1-0. It doesn't really matter. It's about how many chances you create. Obviously, it's about converting those chances. And if you win a game, I don't think those stats really mean an awful lot. They don't always show who controlled the game.
So judgment reserved on your old side Birmingham at the moment, and Pep Clotet, definitely transitional?
I think massive transition. You know, they've tried to do it before under Gianfranco Zola, where they're trying to change the style. And I think it's going to be a difficult season for them.
Indeed, we shall see. Now, usually we save the Friday night game to last, but Huddersfield delivered the Championship's first managerial casualty of the season. Fulham were at the John Smith Stadium, and the home side were still searching for their first win of the campaign. So even before kick-off, the pressure was certainly on Jan Siewert. Now for Fulham, 19-year-old Steven Sessegnon was handed his league debut 3 years to the day after his twin brother Ryan made his. Steve Wilson, who's twin with Guy Mowbray, is your commentator.
Well worked. Alex Pritchard here. Pritchard being chased by Sessegnon. Oh, Bettinelli seemed very confident in the Fulham goal that this was heading wide, which it did, but not, I would suggest, wide by quite as much as the Fulham keeper thought it was going to be. That's good feet. Anthony Knockaert, dangerous cross as well, pushed out by Grabara. Johansson, Cavaliero wide. Big chance that for Ivan Cavaliero. Curled in by Cavaliero and in from Mitrovic. Fulham have the lead, and it has been coming since half-time. They've come out and looked really dangerous since the break, and Alexander Mitrovic gets his goal. Cavaliero backpedaling, and it was actually Juninho Bacuna, not Cavaliero, who knocked the ball square right across his own goal. Look at this. In an attempt to clear his lines, he's put it straight to the back post and onto the head of Alexander Mitrovic. Florent Hadergenay with the cross, a decent one, and the header hits the post, and the goal is given. The technology says it's in. Carlin Grant's header sneaking over the line. The smallest of margins, but a huge goal for Huddersfield. Here's Ivan Cavaliero. If he sees Knockaert, which he has, Knockaert has space. Anthony Knockaert inside. Congolo holding him up, forcing him to go the other way. Nicely done. Sessegnon has reached it. Mitrovic will attack it. And lay it off towards Kearney, and now Cavaliero. Cavaliero's curl! Brilliantly done! Brilliantly done by Ivan Cavaliero. That's the quality that Fulham have up front. He's not had the greatest game, in all honesty, Cavaliero, but the Portuguese has just curled it into the top of the Huddersfield net. And Fulham, certainly deservedly, are back in front. Play on, Chalobah went over thinking he'd been fouled. Harrison Reed finds Bobby Reed for Fulham. Bobby Reed goes for goal. Grabara with a good save. Mitrovic. Battle royal going on between Mitrovic and Rajiv van La Parra. Mitrovic is down holding his face. Referee's assistant was very, very close to that. I must admit, I didn't see why Mitrovic is down. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. And there is the reaction to another defeat. Home fans, few boos. Jan Sievert. It's another defeat.
I know you're all worried, so just to bring you up to date, Mitrovic is okay. I repeat, he's okay. Jan the man isn't, though. Was it the right decision to get rid of the manager at Huddersfield? The wrong decision? Or quite frankly, just a late decision?
I think a little bit all of those. You know, I think that if you look at the, you know, after 3 games of a season, 4 including the cup game, it feels very, very early for someone to be losing their job. But when you look at last season, you know, the fact they only won 1 in 15, 1 in 19 overall, you know the pressure's going to come quick because of the expectations.
The fans are fairly united that it was the right decision. You go into the forums, that's what they're saying. Although there's sympathy for him and they wish him the best, a lot of them saying it should have happened before the summer so they could have built, as you say, in that way. Did you see the players fight for him last night?
I think they had moments where they played with a little bit of energy, but I just feel that I watched them in the first game of the season as well. And towards the end of the games, you want to see a team, if a team's losing, you want to see them throw the kitchen sink at the opposition and just try to get something out of the game. And the game just petered out a little bit, and that was a disappointment for me.
OK, next manager, of course, we move on so quickly. It's a cruel world, as you know, only too well. Mark Hudson, of course, in and about. And this is a trend as well. Someone knows a club. Evans, Chris Hughton. Well, if you're in the Championship, it's a good choice.
I think most Championship clubs are going to want Chris Hughton as their next manager. I think the question will be, Chris Hughton done enough in the Premier League, I think, to earn another opportunity in the Premier League.
Are you in or out? You're 16-1. I've got a fiver here.
I've got no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I don't think the bookies know what they're talking about.
Right, loads more Championship to come. But here's just one of the 56 goals we'll have for you between 10 and 11 from Leagues 1 and 2. I've got a fiver. Tell me during the break, Gary.
Did you bring the bibs?
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
We wanted a lager with more taste, so we made one. Hop House 13.
Once a year, throughout the nation, the most amazing people do something wonderfully simple. Cakes are baked or bought, kettles are boiled, sausages are rolled, doilies are doiled, and Macmillan's world's biggest coffee morning swings into action. The money you raise means Macmillan can be right there for people living with cancer. So, if like this lot, you want to get involved, hang that bunting high, pop the kettle on, and sign up today for your free kit by searching Macmillan Coffee Morning.
When you shop on wayfair.co.uk, you'll find exactly what you want. Whatever your style, you've got affordable options for every room. And you can find what you need at prices you'll love. At Wayfair, we've got you covered. Shop everything for your home at wayfair.co.uk.
With Now TV, the entertainment doesn't stop when the sun goes down. So start your 7-day free trial, kick off your flip-flops and dive into over 300 box sets. Stream the hottest shows that everyone's talking about, all without a contract. And with so much to choose from, there's something for everyone. To start your 7-day free trial of over 300 box sets with no contract, search Now TV.
Learn how to improve your credit score with Totally Money. This is frightfully nice, isn't it?
Hey, get your hands off my meat.
Get your credit scoring report at totallymoney.com.
What a day. Up at the crack of noon for lunch, then relaxing by the pool for an hour or 4. Now you're ready for that taste of the Caribbean at this beautiful hotel in Berkshire. Warner Leisure Hotels. Feel like you've had a proper break. Discover our new hotel, Studley Castle in Warwickshire.
That's how I roll. If I'm shining, everybody gonna shine. I was born like this, don't even gotta try. I like shot and nigga better over time. It ain't my fault that I'm out here getting loose. Gotta blame it on the goose. Gotta blame it on my juice.
The Fiat 500 Star and Rockstar with 0% APR.
New Corsadil Complete Protection. If you see traces of blood when you brush, what kind of toothpaste do you choose? One for healthy gums or one for strong teeth? You don't have to choose. New Complete Protection from Corsadil has 8 specially designed benefits for healthy gums and strong teeth. Take control and help leave bleeding gums behind with new Complete Protection from Corsadil.
From Carlisle to the Argyle.
What a goal! Is that the goal that changes everything?
With even longer highlights, we'll be with you all the way. EFL on Quest. Available now on Quest OD.
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
Hello again. Luton Town have impressed so far this season, but we're still looking for their first championship win, and they had their work cut out against a strengthened West Brom team, including Charlie Austin. Tom Skippings provides the words.
It's the first league meeting between these sides for 12 years. Another big-name visitor to Kenilworth Road on their return to the championship. Here's Martin Cranick with room to deliver the cross, which he does for Cornick. Well, West Brom may be the big name in town, but it's West Brom who are behind, thanks to Harry Cornick. His first league start for Luton, and his first goal, a free header. West Brom really need to up the tempo. They've been sluggish in the Bedfordshire sunshine up to now, and they find themselves behind. Here is Livermore, who will try the shot. Pushed over the crossbar by Seaman Sluga. And that's the first time he's been tested. West Brom skipper on target. Their best chance so far. West Brom looking a little sharper at the start of the second half. Kravinovic. Here's Diangana, the half-time substitute. And we'll try one. Well, how about that for an impact? Grady Diangana, barely 3 minutes into his championship debut, has levelled it up for West Brom. Fired it home past Sluga. They immediately look more confident and more purposeful now that they're level, West Brom. And here is Diangana, the goal scorer, Sawyers. A little sharper in their passing. Kravinovic with room will try the shot. It's deflected and turned in, and it's that man Diangana again. He's scored twice inside 6 minutes
to completely turn this game around. Grady Diangana. What a half-time change from Slaven Bilic. Luton's unbeaten home league record here stretches back to March 2018, and they're trying to preserve it. Here's Loa. Will try the shot, turned away by Johnston. Luton's substitute trying to match the impact of West Brom's. Loa. That's a neat turn and finds Brown, the other substitute. Luton still looking threatening. Potts on the overlap outside him. In it goes, and Panzu couldn't get on the end of it. Potts fired it in across the face of goal, and Peli Raducanu couldn't make the decisive contact. But Luton are still looking for this equaliser. Diangana full of running, and they cannot handle it. Diangana away again. Real prospects here for West Brom. Here's Austin. He's hit the post from very close range. Charlie Austin just off the bench and almost on the score sheet. West Brom finishing the stronger.
Grady done exactly what we wanted from him to do. He's a talented guy. He has already, for his age, big Premiership experience. He played 17 games in the Premiership, which is great.
I don't think West Brom earned their goals. I think we gave them. Positives and negatives. I thought first half we were the best we've been since I came, but didn't sustain it. West Brom put on some power from the bench and changed the game a little bit, and that really summed up the day, really.
We've had some debuts this season already, league debuts. What about that? Diangana, it wasn't just the goals the young lad scored. What a handful.
Oh, it was his all-round game, wasn't it? And he's a player that I know West Ham certainly rate highly, and they're expecting he's going to have a very strong season with West Brom. Yeah,
we haven't talked huge amounts about Slaven Bilic yet. We take it for granted, but a great addition, a great character, a great addition to the Championship.
Well, real surprise in a way, and I think symptomatic of the quality that's dropping down from the Premier League. Not just players now, it's coaches and managers, and Slaven Bilic managed at the highest level, got great charisma, and certainly having a really, really positive effect on West Brom so far.
Graham Jones managing against his old club. Just to finish, be honest with me, when you play against an old club, do you want to beat them more, less, or are you professional and it's just the same?
No, a lot more.
More. Thank you for being honest. Right, Tuesday night's cup match saw a 6-goal belter between Queen's Park Rangers and Bristol City. So let's move on to their league sequel. But first, we're off to Ewood and Griffin Park in that order.
With 2 games gone and bottom of the table without a league goal scored by one of their own players, Blackburn were keen to make amends. And Bradley Dack so nearly did. And Danny Graham wasn't a million miles away from a tap-in. Middlesbrough haven't set the Championship alight either so far this August, and they were forced into desperate defending to keep Greg Cunningham out. A combination of Darren Randolph and George Friend kept the visitors' goal intact. But not for long, as it turned out. Another cross into the box caused panic and some shirt pulling. Afenay Dijksteel couldn't keep his hands off Danny Graham, and it was spotted by the referee. So that meant the striker who started his career at Middlesbrough had the chance to inflict a little more misery on Jonathan Woodgate's men, and he took it. Another ghost of Borough past, Stuart Downing is wearing the blue and white of Blackburn these days, but how many times did the Riverside see their man produce a moment of magic like that? Still, Tony Mowbray almost saw his former side take a point back to Teesside. Marcus Brown timed his run to perfection, if not quite the finish. It means Rovers are off the foot of the table, while Borough are still seeking their first win of the season.
We dealt with it pretty well today. It was about getting 3 points at the end of the day, not having a top performance. It was about winning the football match, and that's what we managed to do.
I've just set them in the changing room there. 3 games going. You'll get times in the season where you lose 3 on the spin. It's important we keep on going, stay on the same plan, and keep on grafting and play against Wigan on Tuesday night.
Hull's heaviest defeat of last season came at Brentford, where they were on the wrong end of a 5-1 scoreline. They started on the front foot at Griffin Park this time around. Kevin Stewart's effort tipped over as the Tigers looked for a 3rd straight win in league and cup. The Bees are lacking a sting to their attack after losing Neil Maupay in the transfer window. They've only managed to find the net once in their opening 2 league games. Brian Mbeumo couldn't add a decisive touch to Henrik Dalsgaard's driven cross. The deadlock was finally broken 8 minutes after the break, and it was a half-time sub that created the opener. Leonardo da Silva Lopez with the weighted pass for Jared Bowen to hammer in. That was his second of the season. Brentford's solitary goal in the Championship came from Ollie Watkins in the win over Borough last week. He was back on the scoresheet again after getting on the end of Sergi Canos' cross. The goal stood despite calls for offside from the Hull back line. Both sides had chances to take all 3 points. It was Kamil Grzycki who came the closest, beating David Raya, but not the post. Only a second draw between these sides in their last 22 league meetings.
The disappointing thing is that we concede this goal, I would say. We need to do that better. In many ways, it's like, one of these. So on a day where we didn't hit our highest offensive level, we need to be able to win a 1-0 game.
It took penalties to separate Bristol City and QPR 4 days ago in the EFL Cup. This time the venue was Ashton Gate, and City were hungry for their first league win of the season. Adam Noj got on the scoresheet in just his second start since a deadline day move from Bologna. It's just the third goal of the Hungarian's career. Grant Hall's exasperation at his clearance finding Noj pretty clear to all who watched him hit the deck. QPR's best chance of the game came from a corner in the second half. First Hall, then Jordan Hugill combined to have a go that went very close. Props to keeper Daniel Bentley for his one-handed save to keep it out. The win was confirmed by a QPR calamity just before the hour. Joe Lumley with a fabulous slice, quick thinking by Andreas Weimann, and Benik Afobe netted his first goal in Bristol City colours. It's the 11th club of Afobe's career. Hard to believe he's only 26 really. It also confirms the first 3 points of the season for the Robins.
Great for Benik to score. You know, we're looking for that type of sort of bulldozing striker to play with the good strikers that we've already got. So I thought the team had to work extremely hard because of QPR's quality, but we did, and we came out with a fantastic 2-0 win.
Any time we've really been feel threatened or looked threatened is our own personal error, so we've got to tighten up and be better. But for long periods we were very good, but it's a ruthless game. It's about results, and today we've dropped 3 points.
Any managers that want to swear like Thomas Frank, go ahead, we can bleep it. Nose went off at half-time. That adds to the injury list, unfortunately, for the Robins. You know Benik Afobe very well, though, and if he's happy and confident, really good sign.
Yeah, that's the key thing. You know, he has to play with confidence and he has to go on runs in terms of goal scoring. I think it's a good signing for Bristol. You know, it's a good environment for him there. It's good for him to get on the score sheet so early in the season, and I think, you know, he could have a really, really strong season.
Whether Bristol City are in the bottom half of the table or fighting to get into playoff places, Bobby Reid, Tabby Abraham, it's a good place for a striker like that, isn't it?
Well, they seem to be able to create lots of chances for the forward players. They play a very good style of football in terms of being one of those strikers. So again, there's opportunities for the likes of Benik Afobe to score goals this season.
The Brentford Hull City game, it was entertaining. Two players I love to watch, Jared Bowen and Ollie Watkins, and the latter, a lot of weight in his shoulders now.
Yeah, I think with Neil Maupay going to Brighton in the summer, I think Watkins was playing in the front three but slightly wider. Now he's playing central. These are the type of goals he needs to score. Those scruffy ones you love as a striker, and he'll be happy with that one.
Now, there's a lot of nasty stats about Woodgate's start at Borough. A bit cruel, really. We're only 3 games in. He's probably right to complain about some decisions that went against him last week. Let's have a look at this penalty decision, because it's probably right, but consistency is always an issue with these, isn't it?
Yeah, I've watched it a lot. He does tug the shirt of the defender. In theory, it's a penalty, but if they give penalties for that, you know, there's going to be a lot of them given in every game.
Right decision, but again, yeah,
you'll feel harsh done by as a manager.
Yeah, Dijksteel, the offender in that case. OK, right, stay with us, because after the break, we have all the actions from Leagues 1 and 2. So many must-see moments, including old friends Sunderland and Portsmouth, who clashed this lunchtime.
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
Okay, so comedy.
No.
Action comedy.
No way.
Animated action comedy. Critically acclaimed dramas about dogs, sequels of remakes, remakes of prequels, reality shows about geese.
Shall we just go to the pub for a Gordon's and tonic?
Absolutely, let's do that instead.
Gordon's. Shall we?
Petrol and power cords could make gardening a chore. So G-Tech's cordless garden range is powered by lithium-ion batteries. Our cordless lawnmower runs for up to 40 minutes and recharges in just an hour. Our cordless grass trimmer will trim the edges and hard-to-reach areas. And our lightweight hedge trimmer cuts high up and down low without bending. Just a perfect finish. Call the number on screen or visit gtech.co.uk.
With 25% off when you open a personal account. Look again. Always something new.
Looking from a window above, it's like a story of love. Can you hear me? Came back only yesterday, I'm moving farther away.
I joined Elite Singles because I wanted to find somebody that I could truly click with.
EliteSingles.co.uk, helping you find chemistry that lasts.
I love buttons.
Bingo! Everyone's a winner with Sun Bingo. Spend £5 and get a guaranteed prize every day.
Oi, are you gonna bingo?
Ah, so you like figuring stuff out?
Huh?
Come on. Can you solve this?
Yeah.
All right, clever clogs. Maybe you're more protective. Try protecting space.
Possible satellite breakup. Copy.
Or are you chill enough to fly that?
Fly that thing. No, this thing.
Everyone's got that one thing they were born to do. Find your force in the RAF.
So, boys, we're doing it again.
£30,000 will be won every single day in our September draws.
That's right, Judy. There's over £17 million guaranteed to be won.
I know I'm ready. Are you guys?
We sure are.
But it feels like we've forgotten something.
Daniel!
No one's knocking on your door. Guys?
For your chance to win, sign up before midnight this Thursday to play in the September draws.
We all want our home to be a special place that shows off who we are and what we love. But how do you find something affordable, stylish and so you? Wayfair has everything you need, big or small, and in whatever style you're looking for to make your home your very own. Your home, your style, your Wayfair. Shop everything for your home at wayfair.co.uk.
Repossession is a risky business.
Got $3.5 million worth of assets.
But when a plane is worth millions,
Yeah, baby.
the risk is always worth it.
3 airplanes off the ground. Not a bad day. Woo! Let's take a ride, my friend.
Brand new Airplane Repo, Tuesday at 10 on Quest and Quest OD.
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
The clock has struck 10, which means 1 whole hour of League One and League Two. Gary has called in a director of football in the form of Sam Parkin, and we begin with Sunderland and Portsmouth, who met 5 times last season. Pompey won the Checkatrade Trophy. Sunderland triumphed in the playoff semi-finals. Now, Jack Ross was looking to avoid his third 1-1 draw of the campaign, and he kept faith in 4 of the faces who came in to beat Accrington Stanley on Tuesday night. Now, Kenny Jackett recalled John Marquis to the starting lineup for Portsmouth, Ellis Harrison dropping to the bench. John Driscoll was at the Stadium of Light for us.
falling for Harness here. Can he accelerate away? And it pops up for Marcus, and he didn't strike it cleanly, but he keeps on going. And now Harness has turned it in. Sunderland just couldn't clear their lines. And Pompey have made them pay. And the side that has started the stronger have their reward. And there was nothing fancy about it. It more or less went straight through the middle. It was a deflection that took it the way of Harness, and he kept on going. Popped up there for Marcus, but he couldn't strike it cleanly. His persistence, though, meant that Sunderland just couldn't get it away. And Marcus Harness has scored his first goal since signing for Pompey in the summer. And a corner given to Sunderland. Gareth Miller, the assistant referee. Ledbetter's delivery and a wonderful header. It was Jordan Willis. So much determination, so much athleticism. And a thumping header into the corner of the goal. And it's his first in the red and white stripes for Sunderland. Here's McNulty. Tries to turn it back to McGeady. It breaks kindly for McGeady. Into the penalty area he goes, and this must be Maguire. He's on target against Portsmouth again. And Sunderland have bounced back from going behind to taking a 2-1 lead before half-time. Well, a little bit of persistence. They got a bit of a lucky break there for McGeady, but he made the most of it. And Maguire, right place, right time. Sunderland in front. Here come Pompey on the attack. Marcus cuts it back into the penalty area. And a vital block. It was Gareth Evans who arrived, the substitutes, and was denied. It's the block from Öztürk, isn't it, that denies Gareth Evans. So McCrory, the right-sided central defender, a long way forward, is Ben Close. Just over 10 to play. Good skill from McCrory, and his cross is dangerous, and it had to be saved sharply. Best save of the game made by John McLaughlin. Defeat for Portsmouth at the Stadium of Light. It has finished Sunderland 2, Portsmouth 1.
I think we've got quite a good side. I don't think that they lacked any effort or character coming to Sunderland, and we did come here and take the game to them. So there's a lot to build on, things to improve on, 100%. But for us anyway, we just have to keep working away.
It's this rivalry between them now that continues. This is the start of it this season. Who knows how many times they've played each other. Sunderland, first blood to them. 3 points, the performance to go with it?
Improved, definitely, from last week's draw at Ipswich. I think defensive solidity, it was all about today. The two centre-half, Öztürk and Willis, obviously, defended magnificently, got himself a goal as well. Two holding midfield players, giving the likes of McGeady and Maguire today more of a platform to go and do what they did for the second goal.
What about the manager's point of view from this? If you were in that dressing room, 3 times they've fallen behind this season, but you've been that's a confidence thing, a sense to him. 3 times you've taken something from the games.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to be able to do, to go behind and have the resilience and the character and the belief to come back and win the game. It was a big win today, but certainly in those circumstances, they'll be taking a lot of positives out of the game.
And under that kind of like no more draws, please, Jack, because nobody wants to see him hit the road, I think it's fair to say, in this studio. He is changing, as you said, changing things about, going forward to back, you know, being brave.
Well, they looked a lot more solid today. They've obviously played a 3 in the last couple of games. I don't think they've really had the wing-backs. I know the left side's a real issue. That might be something that they'll try and rectify. But I think moving forward, you saw Maguire, interestingly, in and around McNulty today, getting into pockets of space. We know that he can do bits of brilliance. And when McGeady gets it in wide areas, those two in particular, I think they need to do a little bit more. That the front players, now they have a better defensive base, they need to really come to the fore.
Listen, we know what has to happen for Sunderland this season, and that is a reasonable expectation from the fans that they go up this year. But if you have a look at the stats, Gary, you know, someone hadn't seen Sunderland play in the third tier last season. Jack Ross, 49 games, 23 wins. You might put a question mark there. Can I give you that stat a different way? 49 games, 5 defeats.
Well, to be honest with you, he's shown after some poor seasons, and the club have obviously slid down the leagues very quickly, but he's added some real stability there. I think the challenge is always, like you just mentioned, is that the expectation is that a side as big as Sunderland, with that fan base, should go straight back up. So the pressure is going to be on turning a lot of those draws into wins.
I was in a fast food restaurant in central London after the playoff final. Restaurant, that's an overstatement where it was, by the way. So, I was sitting with some Sunderland fans I bumped into, and they were down in the mouth and, you know, a few complaints. And I said, well, rate your season. You went to Wembley twice. You know, the record, and they said 7 out of 10. And I said, rate the season before. They went 1. I said, rate the season before that. They said 0. So that deserves a lot of credit. The change in mentality. They didn't just get relegated, Gary. They were bottom of the Premier League. They were bottom of the Championship.
Yeah, and you can't just change that mentality straight away. And I think that's a difficult thing sometimes for people to understand, you know, that Jack Ross has gone in there and not only, yes, he's got to get Sunderland winning, yes, he wants to get Sunderland promoted, but he has to change the mentality and the culture within the club. And I think you have to say that he's done that. Now it's just whether he can take that next step.
OK, we shall see every single week, and midweek will be here as well. Now, our first big League One roundup starts at Bloomfield Road, where the Tangerines are putting the pleasure back in Blackpool. Big game, though, as they faced an unbeaten Oxford United.
You have to go back 7 years for the last time Blackpool won their opening 3 games of the season, and it took only 5 minutes for defender Ryan Edwards to score his first goal since a summer move from Plymouth. That's what we like to call a bullet header. Oxford gave squad numbers to 171 players from their first team down to their under-9s this week, but they still have no number 9, and it told. After Ben Woodburn hit the post, they were caught cold by a long ball over the top at the end of the first half. Rob Dickey was drawn into a foul on Armand Nondouye. The striker had an unmemorable loan spell with Oxford in 2015, but his career's really taken off with Blackpool, a 3rd goal of the campaign already for last season's top scorer. Maybe fired up by that, Oxford did get a goal back straight from the restart. It took 2 fullbacks to find a breakthrough, as Chris Cadden's cross was headed in by Josh Ruffles. Manager Carl Robinson is so desperate to land a new striker, he planned to meet a target back in Oxford after the game. They had 23 efforts. James Hanson's was the closest to equalising, but Blackpool held on to their 100% record.
For the first time since 2011, the Imps, imperious this season, met the Shrimps, winless this campaign. Southend were looking for just their 3rd win in 21 league games and nearly went ahead through Sam Manson. Duly, as Southend rued that chance, Lincoln opened the scoring from the set piece. Jason Shackle athletically heading George Grant's ball past Nathan Bishop. Lincoln looked like a team going for their 3rd win in 3. Jack Payne and Harry Toffolo toyed with Southend's defence. A cheeky little 1-2 left Bishop with little chance, and they netted their 2nd of the day. And Lincoln didn't take their foot off the pedal there. Watch this from Joe Shaughnessy. He must surely be embarrassed by the horrible clumsiness of his tackle on Tyler Walker and the resulting hole in the turf at Sinsel Bank. Walker himself wanted the chance to convert from the spot, and he did. It was 3. Finally, in an act that confirms they are right at home in League One, Lincoln's John Akinde and Payne combined to assist Bruno Andrade, who made it 4. The Imps' goals this season have been scored by 8 different players, proving there is class all over the pitch.
Differing fortunes for these sides midweek as MK Dons won their Carabao Cup penalty shootout and Wycombe lost theirs. This match would also involve spot kicks. Despite the pain of an early cup exit, the home side took the game to the visitors, Paul Smith winning a penalty that Joe Jacobson rolled straight down the middle to give Wycombe the lead. The Dons equalised 20 minutes later thanks to a defensive display that would have Gareth Ainsworth pulling out his famed hair. No closing down, no challenges and no marking as Jordan Bowery ghosted in to level the match. The attacking play was as good as the defending was bad in this one, as Fred Onyedinma took advantage of more indecision from those with their backs to goal. A fine finish as Wycombe restored their lead, but to be a fly on the wall at half-time as the two managers made their feelings clear about what they'd seen so far. Having already awarded one penalty, referee Trevor Kettle then pointed to the spot again when Giles Phillips tripped Dean Lewington. Conor McGrandles stepped up to take the kick. He had a mixed night in the cup win, missing during normal time but scoring in the shootout on Tuesday. Unfortunately for the travelling fans, he failed to find the target again. A third penalty was awarded just after the break as Kettle again spotted a foul in the box. McGrandles sensibly gave way to Jordan Houghton this time around, and he showed his teammate how it was done. That looked to have secured a point for the Dons, but in the final minutes, substitute David Wheeler was the coolest man in Adams Park, controlling Nick Freeman's pass and firing past Lee Nichols to give Wycombe a second league win of the season.
Fleetwood started the match with the swagger of a team who've won both league games so far, and although Jordan Rossiter was denied brilliantly by Ian Lawler, there was Conor McAleny to grab his first goal of the season. But the Cod Army's joy would only last 9 minutes. 19-year-old Cameron John has arrived in South Yorkshire on loan from Wolves for the season, and the young defender opened his professional goal-scoring account with a terrific finish. At 38 years young, James Coppinger is twice his age, but having been involved in the build-up for the equaliser, he decided it was his turn to get in on the act. The home side were in full flow now, and they had a taste for shooting from distance. Kieran Sadlier tried his luck and was mighty close to making it 3. However, the visitors weathered the storm and gradually began to work their way back into it. That said, do spare a thought for the Rovers' keeper Lawler, who yet again would pull off another wonder save. This time it was Paddy Madden who was initially denied, but no one could stop him when he pounced on the rebound. So it was all set up for a grandstand finish, and that's exactly what we got. The post denied Fleetwood and Jack Sowerby, and Lawler was at his stubborn best to keep his goal intact. And it really mattered because the late goal drama came at the other end. Heartbreak for the visitors came in injury time, courtesy of a Wes Burns own goal. Sometimes football can be a little bit cruel.
A lot to talk about, Sam. We don't often criticise the Cowley brothers, if at all, but they're doing a terrible job of dampening expectations, aren't they?
Indeed, and 4 wins on the spin now, if you take the cup into account. First time they've started with 4 wins since 1968. Wow. So I don't think that anything's going to dampen the expectation there. I think they've got the resources. They've certainly got the support. Me and Gary were talking about them earlier. I mean, the catchment area, and it's a football city as well. Everything's in place really to have a good go at it again this year.
Same could be said for Blackpool. And we don't do a happiness index in football, but it's got to be as high up there as anywhere else.
I think so. I mean, there's such a good feel-good factor this season for Blackpool. Of course, the ownership change that a lot of people, the fans, have wanted for so long. The fans are now back in their droves. I think they had 12,000 there on the first home game, which is incredible. And Simon Grayson coming back, and obviously had a lot of success at Blackpool in the first place. So there's a real amount of optimism around that stadium.
We're going to be talking a lot about these two teams, so let's ignore them now and spread the love. Donny, first win of the season. Helter-skelter game.
Fleetwood started absolutely brilliantly. It was a great game, and we're going to see Coppinger doing what Coppinger does. That's actually Cameron John, a young lad on loan from Wolves. So
half the age of Coppinger. What a stat that was.
Yeah, incredible. And I mean, I was just talking to Gary here, the opposition manager, Joey Barton, won't be pleased there because Coppinger's done that all his career, starting shots outside the far post, bringing it back in. supplies the ammunition for the third as well. Oh. And, you know, that combination of his guile with the youthful loanees, rumours maybe that Herbie Kane was pictured at the game today as well. Yeah. If they could get him back, what an asset he'd be as well.
Coppinger, 15 consecutive seasons scoring for the same club. I remember last season presenting the show and saying 14, the season before said 13. I always delight in it because I get the feeling it might be the last time I ever say it, Gary. That's not the modern game. Do you think I'll ever say this again? 15 seasons that player scored for the same club in a row.
Well, it's an incredible testament to his professionalism and how he manages himself, you know, to be able to keep performing at that level. And also the fact that he's been so loyal to Doncaster, you know, he's been a real talisman for them. But he's still producing. That's the beauty for me. He's still producing the goods, he's still producing assists, still scoring goals. So why can't he keep going?
And guiding those kids along as well, teaching them. Wycombe Wanderers, MK Dons, really good game of football. But David Wheeler scoring the winner. He could have been forgiven for going over and hugging Paul Tisdale because of their relationship going back.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Tisdale took him from Staines. It was actually the summer that I went there, and I'd be in my car on the way home and Tiz would be working on his movement and teaching him what it takes really to be a professional footballer, and took everything on board. Obviously, Tisdale took him to MK Dons last year, and he pops up today and gets a really David Wheeler-esque finish, pulling on that far post, very good in the air, shows good feet and a nice little finish.
Let's talk about Gareth Ainsworth. You know him very well. When you played with him, did you see manager?
Well, all you could see was fullbacks' bodies lying on the floor, usually, because he was so aggressive. I played with him at Cambridge United in the early stages of my career. And he was a real direct, old-fashioned winger, you know, but you knew what you were going to get from him, certainly as a player.
He's so effective, isn't he? It's teams in his own image.
Absolutely, yeah. I think he's really true to how he wants football to be played, and it's like you say, it's very much a reflection of how he was. You know, his teams are always fit, his teams are always incredibly organised, they're really, really well structured, and they're always incredibly aggressive in the way that they play football. And I think he's done a fantastic job there.
It's way too positive, though. And you're his mate. It looks a bit of nepotism. Criticise him in some way, will you, before we move on?
Well, you mentioned the hair. I mean, I'm never sure you should wear a blue shirt with blue trousers.
Matching. Looks like
not
pyjamas.
An easy thing to match, maybe, is it?
Terrible dress sense. Right, thank you, Gotwan. Now we're off to see a Peterborough side who were just glad not to be playing Oxford United again after 2 defeats in 3 days. So let's see if a change of opponent brought about a change of fortune. Ipswich Town, the visitors.
Those League and Cup defeats by Oxford had taken some of the gloss off Posh's pre-season optimism. But the visit of the local rivals and their 4,000 fans produced a sense of occasion, which may have got the better of Christy Pym. James Norwood kept his head for his first Ipswich goal, and the Blues in red led after 4 minutes. Peterborough had probably deserved better from their week so far and rallied well enough to equalise. Marcus Maddison clipping a free kick onto the head of Ivan Toney. And just past the hour, Posh were poised for a first win of the season. All a bit simple before Maddison's ball into the box wasn't dealt with, and Mo Issa pounced for the first time for his new club. Now this derby was serving up some proper entertainment. And barely 2 minutes later, Ipswich had the chance to level things up again. Caden Jackson far too quick for Frankie Kent, whose attempt to intervene gave Town a penalty, and presented Norwood with the chance to double his tally. Instead, he allowed Pym to atone for his earlier mistake. And half an hour later, Peterborough were seconds away from the bragging rights. But in the 4th minute of stoppage time, skipper Luke Chambers, whose blunder cost Ipswich victory over Sunderland last Saturday, proved that a week is a long time in football. This was a point won rather than 2 lost.
Goals are proving hard to come by for Shrewsbury. They haven't scored since the opening day of the season. Against Rochdale, it wasn't for the want of trying. Ethan Ebanks Landell's header, tipped away by Robert Sanchez, was one of several chances. In the second half, Ebanks Landell was millimetres away from turning in Sean Goss's free kick. Goss arrived from QPR this week, but couldn't help the Shrews break their duck. Rochdale came into this one unbeaten, 2 wins out of 3 in League and Cup. Had Stephen Dooley's shot beaten Max O'Leary, we might be assessing their chances as promotion contenders tonight. Rochdale thought they'd won this one too. Callum Camps had the ball in the net, but you didn't need VAR to see Ian Henderson offside on the goal line. For Rochdale, there is perhaps one lesson to take from this one. Dayglow pink shirts aren't the best bet if you want to go unnoticed by match officials.
Coventry City's exile in Birmingham this season is far from what any supporter wants, but making the most of their new surroundings, they're certainly doing. Anzi Yakala tipping Matt Godden's effort onto the post in a fairly even first half. But it ended with Coventry in front, and on course to make it 3 wins out of 3 at St Andrews. Jordan Chipley made a break from midfield to reach Wesley Jobello's cross. Defender Tom Davis admitted it was a bombshell to be told he could leave Coventry in the summer. He thought he'd scored his new club Bristol Rovers' first league goal of the season, only for his header to be ruled out. And with that, Coventry kept their 3rd straight league clean sheet at the start of the season for the first time in 69 years. Their victory impressively sealed by substitute Gervain Castanier within a minute of coming on for his League One debut. 7 points from a possible 9 for Cov.
In terms of Coventry on paper, I would expect them to compete. And then the farce of them having to play in Birmingham. Every game's away, technically. 2 from 2 at St Andrews. If that is okay, if that works out and Robbins gets that right and is able to pull that off, big force this season.
Well, it's going to be a big season for them. I mean, if you're a Coventry fan, you've seen basically everything in the last 5 or 6 seasons, haven't you? So it's probably no surprise. But it's a big move for them. But what you would say is Mark Robbins has done a really, really good job. And, you know, if he can get them challenging this season, it's going to be a really strong season for them.
Ipswich, Peterborough, we expect big things of James Norwood. When he scores, they tweet out this gif, 2 cans of beer, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Worth looking at. Should have been tweeted out twice today, but wasn't.
Should have been, but important for any goal scorer to get your first goal for the new club. And obviously this is Christy Pym, kind of redeeming himself after making an early error. But important for him to get his goal, Norwood, but equally important, Chamberlain's getting one as well, because it was his mistake last week against Sunderland.
Yeah.
Few doubters about maybe if he should be in the side. Did the business today and got his team a point, but second best, Peterborough, the better side.
OK, so much more to come. The rest of League One up after the break, but you'll also get to see all the goals from League Two, so stay tuned, or just dead easy, hit that big record button now, it's red, and then you don't have to miss any of these.
Did you bring the bibs?
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
Kayaks Explore tool shows me all the places I can fly to on my budget. For travel, I trust Kayak. For everything else, I trust myself.
Big day today. Jamie gets his results. I hope he's done okay. He's worked so hard.
Thank you.
I'm making paprika burgers. That's his favourite. They were lucky last time. Well?
Make your own burgers with our Tesco finest Aberdeen Angus beef. Food Love Stories, brought to you by Tesco.
I am able to play, to take part,
to be confident,
to be independent,
to be happy.
Owen Mitchell Solicitors understand the impact of personal injury and will help you receive the best possible medical care, rehabilitation and support, so you are able to get the most out of life. Owen Mitchell, the expert hand with the human touch.
No, we haven't talked about it openly.
Prefer to keep it private.
This is a touchy subject.
Well.
We have had a few issues.
It isn't easy talking to your family about money, but it is important. The M word from Lloyds Bank. It's good to talk about money.
What did I miss? What did I miss? We're back! All we needed was the love you gave.
With Now TV, the entertainment doesn't stop when the sun goes down. So start your 7-day free trial, kick off your flip-flops and dive into over 300 box sets. Stream the hottest shows that everyone's talking about, all without a contract. And with so much to choose from, there's something for everyone. To start your 7-day free trial of over 300 box sets with no contract, search Now TV.
On a Riviera Travel River Cruise, we'll take your senses on a voyage. Whether that's stepping into a different era or discovering new and exciting cities, while enjoying our spacious cabins and suites and tasting our award-winning service. Set sail on an 8-day river cruise, starting from only $1099 at rivieratravel.co.uk.
You took it off to keep it dry. Set it down to entertain the kids. You were pottering about and it slipped your mind. It's been there ever since. So maybe it's time to move on. If your wrist feels a little lighter, sell or upgrade your luxury watch with pre-owned specialist Watchfinder. For a quick, competitive offer on your watch, visit watchfinder.co.uk.
Just add soda to new Smirnoff Infusions, made with real fruit.
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
The Bolton Wanderers kids and their fans have been doing the club proud on the pitch and off it with a great point against Coventry last weekend. It's some solace for a great club in real trouble. They headed to the World to face a Tranmere Rovers side back in the third tier and look in their first point.
3 straight defeats in League and Cup, but at least Rovers don't have Bolton's problems. Wanderers only had 2 senior outfield players available for selection here. The ease with which Rovers created their opening goal owed much to Bolton's lack of nous. Ollie Banks with time and space to pick his spot. Tranmere were ruthless. They saw the opportunity to make up for lost time. 2 minutes later, Morgan Ferrier helped himself to his first goal for the club. At 21 years old, central defender Johan Zuma is far from being the youngest player in the Bolton ranks, but his lack of game time showed against the likes of Ferrier. Bullying his inexperienced marker, the former Walsall man extended Tranmere's lead just after half-time. After that, it was always going to be a question of how many. And when Tranmere got a fourth with half an hour still to play, you feared for Bolton's youngsters. Despite the efforts of Harry Brockbank on the goal line, Connor Jennings' initial effort counted, and Wanderers were heading for a drubbing. Not even luck was on their side. The nature of Tranmere's fifth and final goal added insult to injury. Paul Mullin's shot striking teammate Stephen Payne on its way into the net. Don't talk to Bolton about Payne. They're in a world of it right now.
Now, for one of those moments that, had it got in, Nathan Broadhead would have said he 100% meant it. The Everton forwards made a big impression since his loan move to Burton, but the crossbar stopped him from adding to his double against Gillingham last week. Will skirt over John Brayford's attempt on the follow-up. Rotherham only won once away in the whole of last season, but they've now won 3 out of 3 on the road. Their latest victory coming when Ben Wile's shot went in off Burton's on-loan Manchester United goalkeeper Kieran O'Hara. Luck was certainly not on Burton's side. On another day, this may have been a penalty. When Scott Fraser took a tumble inside the area, no foul, said the referee. They've not had much luck with injury either. David Templeton missed the start of the season with a hip injury. He was introduced in the 88th minute and almost produced a moment of magic to level. The crossbar kept them out for a second time, and with that Burton slipped to a second home defeat already.
5 defeats out of 5 between them in League and Cup for these two teams, so a slightly edgy atmosphere wasn't surprising, and nor was an element of good fortune about the opening goal. Wimbledon's neat build-up play may have deserved the decisive deflection on Luke O'Neill's cross from Stanley defender Ross Sykes. It gave the home side a half-time lead that they just about merited, but after narrow defeats to Rotherham and Fleetwood so far, it was clear that the job wasn't done. But it looked a bit more done when Accrington went down to 10 men with half an hour left. Zane Francis Angol's late challenge on Anthony Hartigan left him in a heap too. And the news from referee John Busby wasn't good when he'd recovered. A second yellow card for the defender, and surely a second loss on the road for John Coleman's men was now just a matter of time. But a minute later it wasn't, as Stanley nabbed their first point of the season instead. A cross from Courtney Baker-Richardson, producing Colby Bishop's first goal in league football. For both these teams, winning will have to wait.
Okay, I guarantee every week I'm going to mention Bury and I'm going to mention Bolton, because we cannot allow it to become the norm. We can't get anaesthetised to this. I want you to talk about Phil Parkinson, who I think the last 2 weeks and beyond and months has been magnificent.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an incredibly tough situation for everybody linked to Bolton, not just Phil Parkinson, but I think, you know, the way he's handled it, you know, comes out with enormous amount of credit to try to stay so positive under such difficult circumstances. Circumstances that, of course, you know, no one would blame him if he got frustrated or, you know, if he walked out or whatever. But,
a lot of people would have.
Yeah, but I tell you what, you know, he's stuck in there and he's shown what a good manager he is.
Talking about sticking in and a happier place to be, certainly Rotherham. We haven't seen a relegation hangover, and not one of us are surprised at that.
Well, the games they did win last season, that was a similar performance today. That was so dogged, resilient, defensively incredible. Richard Wood getting a lot of the plaudits this evening. Colossal in defence. And Matt Olosunde, who was at Manchester United, an American international, right back. He's been incredible the first 3 games. So defensively very sound, loads of assets at the top end of the pitch as well.
OK, right, we start League Two with what looked like being the clash of the day between two teams with 100% records. We give you Exeter City and Swindon Town.
It was a quick hop down the M4, M5 for the Robins, who arrived in frisky mood. Keshi Anderson with an early sight of goal, which was blocked heroically by Aaron Martin. Swindon's latest signing, Owen Doyle, only arrived on a season-long loan from Bradford this week, but he seems to be settling in nicely. Exeter have won both league games this season 1-0 with goals in the 88th and 89th minutes, so they broke new ground when they scored with 72 minutes gone. Lee Martin teeing up Matt Jay, and the perfect start to the campaign looks set to continue. But instead of putting on a late scoring show, the Grecians would have to suffer the frustration of conceding with 2 minutes to go. Doyle doing what he does best from close range and making an instant return on the Robins investment.
Forest Green did the double over Grimsby on their way to the playoffs last season and dominated possession at the New Lawn, but it was the Mariners that wasted a chance midway through the second half to gain revenge for last season's defeats, James Hansen missing the target. Rovers haven't exactly been prolific in front of goal so far this campaign, but have made their goals count and secured a second 1-0 win of the season through Junior Mondal's 75th minute strike. The two teams will meet again in February when Mark Cooper's side will be out to match last season's 6 points taken from Grimsby.
Crewe Alexandra were looking for their first home win of the season as Walsall came to visit. Harry Pickering gave the crowd a look at his techers and had a long-range effort as well. Walsall played well for long periods of time, but Crewe had more chances, and they made one stick just shy of 70 minutes when Perry Ng had a long-range effort smothered. Eddie Nolan eventually got on the end to score just the 6th goal of his 13-year career. The game finished on a sour note. Crewe had a sniff at goal via Tom Lowry here from close range. That led to another chance for Pickering. But up near the halfway line, there was stuff going on off camera. Ollie Lancashire getting into trouble for an incident involving Elijah Adebayo. That meant the host finished with 10 men after his first red card in 5 years. His side did take all 3 points.
Newport goalkeeper Tom Kings had big gloves to fill after his popular predecessor Joe Days moved to Cardiff. After a mistake on his debut, this save to keep out Joe Riley was a confidence booster. And it's inspired County against a Plymouth side who'd won 3 out of 3 in League and Cup. Podrick Amon scored a couple of penalties so far, but has yet to finish from open play. After that miss, it looked to be heading towards a stalemate, but with only 4 minutes left, 6'5" defender Kyle Halkins glanced in Ryan Haynes' cross for the winner. The first goal Argyle have conceded, 9 minutes shy of 6 hours of football this season.
Argyle, I feel a little unlucky, Sam, but that was classic Newport, wasn't it? What was the percentage? 27% possession, late goal from a set piece. That's what you get. A team that never gives up.
Yeah,
well-organised drill team.
Absolutely. They've got good strikers as well.
Yeah.
And a little bit of a new defensive setup in terms of the personnel. But, I mean, it's those restarts, isn't it? They're always going to put you under pressure from free kicks, Newport. And they've got, a very good manager, which they've been able to keep hold of.
A cruel question for you. Exeter and Swindon, what start the season? The reverse fixture's February the 1st. Where will he be?
Well, I'm excited about Swindon. I mean, going forward, scintillating with the pace in the side. Exeter, I think, a little bit fortunate, probably, to have 7 points on the board. What I've noticed about them, though, starting games with the 2 up front, and they've gone to 4-2-3-1. Nicky Law going in the number 10 position late in games, and they've got 3 goals from that formation. So I was interested if sometimes Gary's teams, you can be a little bit more creative if you've only got the 1 up top at times.
Yeah, we've often done that. I think what you tend to find is there's times in games where that space between the midfield and the strikers, you want an extra player in there to give you a little bit more control, and also an extra layer of midfield so you can play into those spaces and feed the striker a little bit more. So I think you just have to have that flexibility to win games.
OK, loads more to get on with. The rest of League 2 to come, including these beauties, so don't go anywhere.
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
I close my eyes. We'll always be together, however far it seems. We'll always be together, together in electric dreams.
Switch to Sky's superfast broadband. We'll guarantee your speeds or your money back in the first 30 days. It's totally unlimited, perfect for non-stop gaming and watching your favourite shows back to back. So get superfast broadband for just £27 a month, and that's including line rental. Join or recontract today. Simply search Sky Broadband.
Riviera Travel brings you the world. We've handpicked the best it has to offer, so you can feel India, as well as see and hear it, or be amazed by the wonders of South Africa and a whole world in between. Explore more with 11-day worldwide tours from only $1399 at rivieratravel.co.uk.
At Halifax, we know that nothing beats that new home feeling.
Get down, get down, get down, get down.
That new home feeling. Halifax makes it happen.
Nothing's gonna change my love for you. You wanna know by now how much I love you. One thing you can be sure of, I'll never ask for more than
Quarter pounder with cheese lovers, get ready.
For a limited time, the double quarter pounder with cheese is here. A timeless classic, doubled.
Live your life unlimited. Be unlimited with Vodafone's new unlimited data plans.
All of buttons.
Bingo! Everyone's a winner with Sun Bingo. Spend £5 and get a guaranteed prize every day.
Oi, you, are you gonna bingo?
After an accident at work, of course we'd say call first for lawyers. But those who made us one of the most trusted personal injury specialists, they'd say it too. As would the judges who voted us Personal Injury Award winners 6 times. And those customers who won no-win, no-fee claims with us, they'd definitely say it. Yep, like us, they'd all say,
call first for lawyers.
So if you've been injured at work, call 0800 567 7855 for the justice you deserve today.
Don't even gotta try. I like shot a nigga better over time. It ain't my fault that I'm out here getting loose. Gotta blame it on the goose. Gotta blame it on my juice.
The Fiat 500 Star and Rockstar with 0% APR.
When searching for flights, we trust Kayak. Kayak shows us the price options for different dates, so we can fly when it's best for us.
The Treehouse, a ramshackle dwelling at the bottom of the garden, used as a hideout for top-secret childhood missions. Not anymore.
This is gonna be fun. So what do you want in it?
Bookshelves, bathroom, electricity and light.
Let's go, let's go. We're building things, guys. Whoa, 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 whoa. Are you ready for this?
The Treehouse just grew up. Miss the latest Treehouse Masters on D-Max? It's now available on Quest OD.
Screwfix sponsors EFL highlights on Quest.
It's the EFL on Quest. We're proud to be able to bring you more Football League highlights than anyone ever before. And League 2 continues now with a trip to Salford, with Port Vale looking to give the class of '92 detention.
Some harsh lessons so far this week for League Two's new boys. Outfought by Crawley last weekend and outclassed by Leeds in the Carabao Cup. And Salford were out of luck before half-time here. Adam Rooney denied by Scott Brown, who didn't seem entirely sure how he'd done it. Port Vale were in the mood to continue the Amis education and secure a first league win of the campaign at the same time. Tom Pope's header drew a smart save from Chris Neal. And Salford do still have plenty to learn, such as how giving the ball away in midfield can be costly. Tom Walker's mistake punished by David Worrell's run and Richie Bennett's finish. And this first ever meeting between these two saw Salford saved at the bell by Jake Beasley's injury time header from Walker's free kick. Not quite top marks then, but definitely signs of progress.
It's been Groundhog Day so far for Mansfield fans as they've watched their team come from behind to draw 2-2 3 times in a row in League and Cup. It took just half an hour for that to become an impossibility this time around. Danny Rose with the acrobatic volley to give the Stags the lead for the first time this season. Then, for something I've seen for the first time in a football match, referee Carl Boyson giving an uncontested drop ball because he got in the way of a Mansfield attack. They duly punted the ball forward and Nicky Maynard collected Rose's flick on to secure the 3 points. Another 2 goals for Mansfield, only this time they didn't concede 2.
Without a win this season, there was a measure of added pressure for Gary Bowyer and Bradford as Oldham arrived at Valley Parade. But an early goal works wonders for confidence. James Vaughan got this one inside the opening 4 minutes. Getting the rub of the green usually helps too. Oldham might have cancelled out that opener, but Mohamed Maush was denied by the width of the post. During the week, Oldham came close to upsetting Blackburn in the Carabao Cup, but leaving Clayton Donaldson in space proved fatal here. His first goal for Bradford had the visitors well and truly up against it. Donaldson and Vaughan are a very capable looking front two for the Bantams. If they click, Bradford will soon climb the table. Here Vaughan very nearly made it 3 before half-time. The third eventually arrived in the second half. Donaldson teeing up Sean Scannell, who confirmed Bradford's first home win since March. That was Gary Bowyer's first game in charge. This one was the Bantams' long-awaited first win of the campaign.
Macclesfield can claim the dubious distinction of being the first club to part company with their manager this season, but Sol Campbell would have been delighted with the way his former players competed at Northampton. Theo Archibald teed up Ben Stevens just before half-time with a goal worthy of the club's nickname. Indeed, the Silkmen were unlucky not to double their lead before half-time. Jack McCourt denied only by the post. But the Cobblers found their footing after the break and they were level on 72 minutes thanks to Jordan Turnbull's first goal for the club. The smooth finishing of Andy Williams has been a more reliable source of goals, and when Nicky Adams hit the post, surely he would hit the target. But then again, perhaps not. And that would be an expensive miss. Danny Whitaker would head back to Macclesfield with a 100% record as caretaker manager thanks to a last-minute winner. Archibald the hero as their impressive start to the League Two campaign continues.
Well, we saw Mansfield get their first win of the season. Huge expectation. The big point is Danny Rose, who's been Broadway so far in the first 3 games. Good. Woody Allen referenced, one person has got it. That's good. We got to talk about Sol Campbell and Macclesfield. When we hear mutual consent, it's code word for sacked. Not in this case.
No, definitely not. The job he's done has been sterling. I think we were critical of the team that he inherited last season for good reason, and nobody gave them a chance. Nobody gave him a chance. So for them to stay up was miraculous, and you only have to look at what he's done with a different group of players, in essence, at the start of this season. The results have been tremendous, and again today with Danny Whitaker at the helm.
Sam makes a great point there. People are saying it like, oh yeah, Sol did very well. That looked like chalk and cheese, Sol Campbell to Macclesfield. Not many people are putting money on him doing as great a job as he's done.
No, and I think he spoke a lot about not getting the opportunity, didn't he? So when you go and get the opportunity, particularly at that level, you think it's a brave thing to do to go and take a club at that level because people are going to want to shoot you down in the sense that if you don't do well. But he's had a really good effect and, you know, from what I can see, he's proved his credentials and he might well get an opportunity higher up in the league.
Really good point. Time's against us. I just want to quickly mention Bradford City with you, Gary, because I think everybody involved today in that win, you know, manager, captain, goal scorers. So just pick someone and tell me, you can go and sing their praises.
Yeah, Gaz Bowie is a great guy. I mean, I hope he does really, really well. And getting Donaldson and James Vaughan in, you know, those two should score a lot of goals at this level.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely concur. And they've been able to let Doyle go as well to Swindon for the season. So just shows you the balance wasn't quite right. They were trying to get all three of them in the side. Now, Donaldson and Vaughan in tandem. I agree. I think it's the best squad. I think Bradford are going to be a real force. OK, we're live on Quest. Let's soldier on, get everything in our final round-up of the day. Starts at Scunthorpe, where Paul Hurst was looking for only his second win in his last 19 games, and it would be a tough ask against a buoyant Crawley Town.
Paul Hurst and co went looking for just their second win in 18 games as a buoyant Crawley came to town. The visitors going ahead after 16 minutes. Bez Labala making it 3 in 3 since his move from Birmingham. Scunthorpe did get back into the game from the set piece. Rory McCardle on the end of Adam Hamill's ball from the corner to make it 1-1. Scunthorpe then went ahead. Crawley didn't deal well with either the pace or the ball in from Harrison McGahey. Defender Josh Payne had not one but 2 bites at the cherry, and his attempt fell to Matthew Lund, who took full advantage. He netted 9 minutes into the second half. That's his first goal in exactly 9 months. Despite the elation, a win wasn't to be. Crawley scored again. Josh Dacres-Cogley's corner, well cleared back to Josh Dacres-Cogley. The replicate ball found Nathan Ferguson for his second of the season, and Scunthorpe's wait for a win goes on.
Morecambe-Cheltenham, where the best moments were crammed into the last 60 seconds of the first half. For the Robins, Gavin Riley missed a golden opportunity to get his first goal for the club. Then in first half stoppage time, Morecambe came even closer. John O'Sullivan played in Luis Alessandra, but the angle of post and bar came to the Robins' rescue. Here, Morecambe never quite hit the heights of their penalty shootout win at Mansfield during the week. And as this Sean Long effort suggests, Cheltenham weren't exactly at their best either. They'll be happier with the points. They're first on the road this season. Andrew Tutt's shot, comfortably saved by Scott Flinders, was as close as Morecambe came to a first league win of the campaign.
Leyton Orient had managed just one league goal so far, Stevenage none at all. If that suggested a game short of drama, not quite. Midway through the first half, Curtis Guthrie tangled with Dan Happ, and referee Lee Swaby awarded Stevenage a penalty. With no VAR to hand, he was then summoned for a good old-fashioned chat with his assistant, and the result, no penalty after all. After that, both sides had chances to improve their goal difference and their points tally, of course. Orient had two at once, Connor Wilkinson and Lee Angol, both denied by the impressive Paul Farman. And deep in stoppage time, Stevenage almost improved on their first point of the season. Danny Newton's volley repelled by Dean Brill. So not bad for action, but for both teams some goals would help.
Loosely called an East Anglian derby, these sides are separated by over 60 miles, but in the embryonic table they were only separated by a point, as both looked for a first league win. Having survived an initial penalty appeal, Cambridge did concede when Ben Stevenson was chopped down by Paul Lewis. Before a goal on the opening day, Luke Norris